more health experts are flagging up concerns on gatherings becoming COVID-19 super spreaders. That's as over 18,000 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. The infection rate is nearing the 2 million mark. Now, it's no doubt the third wave is hitting us harder. So to speak more about the importance of COVID-19 protocols being followed, particularly for religious communities, we have Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana, General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches. Bishop, always a pleasure being in conversation with you. Very good evening to you. We do see the numbers rising. We've got a new variant, the Delta variant, that has spread across the country. As you're sitting right now, when it comes to gatherings, particularly when it comes to religious gatherings, where should the decision-making fall and what should it be?
Very good question. And I would like to say, though, that I believe that a lot of religious leaders are certainly reconsidering their gathering plans. But it's actually a much easier environment to manage the religious communities. They're very disciplined people. And I think that the greater problem that we have, and I think we need to find a strategy for this, it is the communities that are not structured for management. Like, for example, what happens in the commercial, I mean, every shop I go to these days, they hardly have even the numbering of that they've been doing before to say so many people inside the shop. I go into places where I actually carry my own sanitizer. There isn't a management of this. So these are places that are not easy to manage, such as religious communities. And I think that we need to look at the commercial centers. We need to look at especially the nightclubs. There are nightclubs, I understand, that will put the shutters down at 10 o'clock to pretend there's nothing happening. And a whole crowd of people are jamming until 4 in the morning. These are places that are seriously troublesome, and we're seeing it happen. So I think that we need everybody. I mean, there are some in the churches, in the religious communities, who would have us believe that the coronavirus does not exist. Are our relatives just dropping dead from magic? There are only two means of stopping this from spreading or slowing it down. It is the non-pharmaceutical measures of a mask, the distance, the hand washing, and all that we need to do to make this happen. There are people who say in the townships I go to, oh, this mask is for going to town. I mean, really, what the mask? I said, look, I know, you know.
But then, Bishop, you see, as you're saying, that it is the misinformation that exists out there is absolutely unfathomable, and unfortunately it risks and causes a lot of sadness because of loss of life as a result of COVID-19 related illnesses. So as such, I mean, you were talking about nightclubs, and you're absolutely right. Nightclubs have been known where people groove and then people contract the virus. Should we be then thinking about a complete shutdown of all gatherings, churches, nightclubs, so that people do not find themselves in spaces that are confined, gathering for long periods of time, and then at risk of violating the very same COVID-19 regulations that may cost us our lives?
I'm not even sure that I think all of us should be saying, don't make this a government issue. Let's take responsibility. Don't make this a government issue, because it's easy to make government the target. I mean, then you politicize it, especially on the eve of local government elections. I think that even besides those things, there are people in our midst, and this is in our midst. I can tell you it's in our midst. There are some who believe that the vaccine will, if you take it, you'll die sooner or later. And that has nothing to do with nightclubs or anything. That it is a tracking magnet, that it is a mark of the beast. All these are wild myths that have no truth in them. The truth is that the coronavirus is real and it kills. And this is the message that all of us must take in and accept. And grievously, we have 60,000 body bags to prove it. The truth is that the virus only spreads through human contact. It does not matter where you are. When an infected person is in a group, whether it's in a supermarket, in a taxi, in a worship place, or in a political rally. The Church of Jesus Christ is a messenger of life. He said, I have come that you may have life. And indeed, this is the message, in fact, in all our religious traditions. We are part of what is called Religious Forum Against COVID-19, which brings together a number of a multi-faith structure that gets all our communities to understand what needs to be done. And this is what we are saying, that everybody should do it, not just the religious communities, every political parties, commercial centers, everybody must commit to it.
I hear you, Bishop, especially around the commitment of following COVID-19 protocols. But back to my question, we're in a third wave. We've got this Delta variant, unfortunately, that is wreaking havoc. We've got bed capacity that is overstretched. We've got our health care centers that are overstretched. Just so that we can get over this third wave and do so hopefully alive, as many of us as possible, should we not be looking at a total shutdown of churches that they can go online, of gatherings, as you're speaking about, even the nightclub gatherings, so that they do not find themselves festering COVID-19 infections? Should that not be the direction, including the church?
I can say that as far as I can speak only for the SACC churches, and I know that they have already made the commitment to cut down their numbers. They've been doing this already. But I'm loath to say here's what the churches must do, because not all churches are in the SACC. I know that in the SACC, that commitment is being made. In fact, they're meeting again on Monday to review exactly the current situation. The heads of churches are meeting on Monday. But we've already been spreading this, and you can, if you look at the website of the Anglican Church, Archbishop Mangope has already sent out a letter to every Anglican church in the country to say, cut down, cut down, cut down, and all of them are doing the same thing. So I don't think that it's a matter. That's why I'm saying that even if that happens, it does not change the culture of our society when people are slaughtering at funerals and making all these feasts and making people eat because it's culture. Yeah. These are things that all of us have got to commit to.
I hear you. And also when it comes to misinformation that gets perpetuated even within the church. I mean, you were speaking, Bishop, about how some church leaders believe that this is the end times, we're dealing with the mark of the beast, and that particularly the vaccine may just be the 666 sign or the like. How then do you intervene and mitigate against the spread of this misinformation? What are you guys doing to counter some of this information, which unfortunately you would know the sheep without direction will latch on to any shepherd?
First of all, Jesus, if people really follow the words of Christ, Jesus says nobody knows when the end time comes. He says not even the angels know. Why must these people become the agents of the end times when they do not know when? Nobody will know when it comes. It will come, and Jesus says two will be walking together, one will be taken, the other will be left behind. Nobody knows the end times. This end time story has been there for the last 2,000 years. All we're dealing with now is a disease that is not an end time disease. It is simply a virus that can be stopped, and it must be stopped because people commit to stopping it. Secondly, I can say we have actually we had a task team that had theologians as well as medical people that put together a document that we have prepared. I can share that with you, that actually speaks to all these myths because they are really not founded on any truth. All of them. All of them, but all of them.
Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana, always a pleasure speaking to you. General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches.